Hello everybody, my name is Claudius, and I'm here today to introduce you to Seattle Cannabis Exchange, an operating system for your cannabis business. Seattle Cannabis Exchange just isn't a seed-to-sale tracking system. We go far beyond that. We give you the tools and information that you need to run your corner of the store. It doesn't matter if you're an investor in the business, the retail store manager, an accountant, or a bud tender, for example. Let's jump right in and see how Seattle Cannabis Exchange does retail. One of the first things you'll notice after you log into Seattle Cannabis Exchange is you have all the tools that you need to manage your store right here, such as cannabis tracking, point of sales, purchasing, inventory, accounting, payroll, timesheets, and much more. One of the questions we also get a lot from our customers is whether we can limit the information that specific employees have and limit their access to specific modules. And the answer is yes. With Seattle Cannabis Exchange, you can give the minimum set of permissions to each individual employee that they need to be able to complete their job every single day. Here's an example. You may have a bud tender, and you may want to give that bud tender access to only the point of sale system. That's possible with Seattle Cannabis Exchange, making sure that they don't have access to the cannabis tracking, accounting, and payroll modules, for example. And I want to make sure it's clear as well. With Seattle Cannabis Exchange's seed-to-sale tracking system, you can stay compliant with the Washington State medical and recreational laws. Now let's take a look at our cannabis tracking. Here you'll be able to navigate the application in the left-hand navigation pane. You'll see sections such as inventory, inbound and outbound transfers, compliance information, and company configuration data. Currently we're in our API logs, but let's go to our inventory rooms. Here you see an inventory room that I created earlier called Bulk Inventory Room A. Let's click on it to get some more information. You can see when I made the room, I decided not to make it a quarantine room. Now let's go to our API logs. One of the great features with Seattle Cannabis Exchange is that with our API logs, you can always tell whether you're in or out of compliance with the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board. Here you'll notice that I created an inventory manifest lookup earlier. The Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board did not accept it. You know that I made the request because it says my name or my role right here as an admin. You can see the date and time that I made the request. You can also get more information from the request by clicking on it. Let's do that. You'll see that I did a bulk inventory room A here. It was a success, meaning the WSLCB accepted it. You can also see more information about the room, and that was sent along with the request right here. You can see who made the request. Now let's go look at our point of sale system. Our point of sale system here, since I'm logged in as an administrator, I am able to see each and every point of sale terminal that's available in the retail store, including our bud tender A. Smith. Before we go look at that, I want to make sure that I point out a couple of key facts. With the Seattle Cannabis Exchange point of sale system, you can log in using any Microsoft, Android, or Apple device. It doesn't matter if it's a desktop, tablet, or a phone. Also that's important that I point out is Seattle Cannabis Exchange is compatible with a wide range of barcode scanners, including the Socket Mobile CHS7QI and the Honeywell Eclipse line of scanners, amongst others. Now, if I was logged in as A. Smith, a bud tender, I would only be able to see my point of sale system. I would not be able to see the administrators. This is important because here at Seattle Cannabis Exchange, we believe in strong cash management policies. And because we adhere to strong cash management policies, A. Smith, our bud tender, would not be able to share their cash register or their point of sale system with any other bud tender. Now let's go ahead and open up our point of sale system by clicking resume. Here's what our point of sale system looks like. Before we go into too much detail, I want to point out another key feature of Seattle Cannabis Exchange's POS. So long as you log into and open the POS while you have an internet connection, It does not matter if that internet connection were to go down during the day. You would still be able to sell the products in your store and not be able to cease operations. Once the internet connection came back, our POS system will send all that information to the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board and sync it with our database. Here you'll notice that every single item in the store is available for sale. You can also make product categories. We have some product categories here such as beverages, fruits and vegetables. You can make more appropriate product categories for your retail store such as CBD or THC or tinctures or edibles or something that can be drank. A bud tender can also search for products using the search bar. For example, right here, you can see all products that begin with an S, or here an A, or maybe we should type in beer. We can also select products by selecting the product category here and go home. Now, again, the most common way to select a product is using a barcode scanner, but I will select it by clicking it. Now we'll select payment, we'll select cash. We'll say now that our customer doesn't have enough money. They didn't take out enough money from the ATM machine or left some of their money in their vehicle. Here's a great way to point out a great feature with Seattle Cannabis Exchange. We can now select back, open up a new POS, and serve the next customer in line. We'll select the oranges again, we'll select payment, we'll select cash. We can say that they paid with $7. We automatically calculate the change. You can select the customer here in order to keep track of customers' buying habits. We'll select validate. Here, your bud tender can select to print the receipt. You'll notice that every single receipt is customizable for your store. We've named our store Seattle Cannabis Exchange. We've given our phone number, and we've indicated who sold the particular product. Next, we'll go to next order. Now, the individual who we're helping out has come back in line. We can then open up their previous order and start again without having to search for the products all over again. We won't go through the whole purchasing system. We'll now select close. While it closes, you as a manager, a buyer, an investor in the business may want to know what are your best-selling products. Which products sell best on which days? Who's your best-selling bud tender? This is all possible with Seattle Cannabis Exchange. All we have to do is click orders in the report section here. Click on the time period that we want. Click on the day. We could even click on the location that it was done in. We can select the product that was sold and the salesperson or the bud tender. And you'll see all the information that you need to be able to make sure you run a better store. Now we'll go to dashboards. A bud tender can close out at the end of the day, also known as Zing out, by clicking close. Here you'll see once they validate the cash in their cash drawer, they can select validate closing entries and post them to our accounting system. We'll just go to the accounting system here. One of the great features of Seattle Cannabis Exchange is you'll notice that if you have a bank account, you can reconcile your bank account here, and your accountant has all the features that they need to be able to do their job every single day with our accounting system. It's GAAP compliant, which is generally accepted accounting principles. Now let's go to purchases. We also have a great feature here that helps out our buyers for each store. What's really amazing about this feature is that you may have a product that you always want to keep in stock. With Seattle Cannabis Exchange, we make it easier to make sure that you always keep that product in stock. We do this by setting a couple of variables, such as you may want to always keep 5 in stock. You may also understand that your vendor takes 1 week to fulfill those orders. You can set those parameters, and anytime the system understands that you're getting close, it will automatically create a request for quotation. We can even go a step further than that. We can automatically send that request for quotation off to the vendor, making your job that much simpler. Now let's go to inventory here. You can see all your inventory. It doesn't matter if you have 1 store location, 2 store locations, 3 store locations, or 8 or 12 or 50. You can see your inventory for all your store locations here and drill down into each store location. You'll notice that we have messages right over here. Our messages are like emails. You can email anybody inside and outside your organization. You have a calendar. You also have your accounting and payroll. You have your timesheets. You can keep track of your employee attendances here. Employees can request vacation and leaves. You can accept or decline employee expenses. You can even manage your fleet of vehicles if you have them, such as your maintenance, your odometer, how much gas it has, what are your leasing payments for the vehicle. You'll notice here that we have a number 24 next to an envelope. This 24 indicates that you have 24 unread email messages. Next to that, you'll see a chat icon. Right here, you can chat with your employees within the store or at other store locations. This is a great way to get real-time information without having to pick up a phone. Well, everybody, that is how Seattle Cannabis Exchange does retail.